about how great the health care bill is that is stalled right now in, well, what's supposed to be a conference committee, but it's stalled, period. And listen to what he claims this health care bill will do. This is literally impossible, what he says. Watch.
This approach would preserve the right of Americans who have insurance to keep their doctor in their plan. It would reduce costs and premiums for millions of families and businesses. And according to the Congressional Budget Office, the independent organization that both parties have cited as the official scorekeeper for Congress, our approach would bring down the deficit by as much as $1 trillion over the next 2 decades.
Let me take you back to 1965, okay, when we were about to pass Medicare. I'm going to read you a quote from the late Ted Kennedy about what would Medicare cost in the future. This is how you can't trust what these guys tell you. Now just think, first off, think about this. The president wants to cover everyone, cover all conditions, lower costs, and lower the deficit. How does that seem possible? I mean, really, put it in those terms. How does it seem possible you can do that? Maybe in a perfect world, it just doesn't seem possible that if you covered everybody, you could lower costs. How do you cover all conditions and lower the deficit at the same time? It's just impossible. And there's only, so many rich people we can continue to take from, while the top 10% of wage earners are paying 2/3 of the country's income taxes. Now, but I want to read you something Ted Kennedy said back in 1965. He talked about what Medicare would cost in 1990. I'm going to tell you what it really cost. Here's what Kennedy said. Medicare will cost the taxpayer $9 billion in 1990. You know what it cost in 1990? You know what Medicare cost? $73 billion. Kennedy's prediction was $9 billion. It was $73 billion. You know what it costs today? $500 billion. Right now in 2008, I don't have numbers for 2009. That's how much that program has exploded. So the idea, you can listen to these guys tell you what it's going to cost in 20 years or 10 years or 100 years. It's just, it is just out and out lie. It's full-fledged 100% deceit. Now the president went on. Now he talks about his big plan to freeze government spending. I know I believe him. And listen to what he says is going to be in, what he says is going to be out. This is critical. Listen to this.
Specific steps to pay for the $1 trillion that it took to rescue the economy last year. Starting in 2011, we are prepared to freeze government spending for 3 years. Spending related to our national security, Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security will not be affected.
Okay, now let me explain something of how the federal budget works, okay? Federal budget, there's a such thing called discretionary spending and non-discretionary spending. Now again, let me explain it, and I don't mean to be condescending, but let me just tell you what the difference is. Discretionary spending is what Congress chooses to spend money on. Non-discretionary spending is done by statute, meaning entitlements, things like that. When he says we're going to leave out Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and defense from the spending fee, that's about 90% of the federal budget right there. So I guess we're not going to clean up Yellowstone or something like that. That's going to be where we get the freeze. But the rest of this stuff can just keep exploding. Medicare, right now, 43 million Americans are on Medicare. By the year 2030, that's the critical year, because that's the year all the baby boomers from 1946 to 1965 are 65 years or older. There will be 71 million people on one government program. So you can see if we just do nothing, the cost to that is going to, of course, we've promised people that we're going to take care of them later. So, we're